佢哋神嘅子民。
And we really need to have a wake-up call and say, what is happening here that we are not, we are not being clever about.
所以我哋都要醒來就睇下點解我哋唔夠聰明。
And what's wrong?
乜嘢出咗問題？
But the good news is even though we're not perfect, we can still be clever.
個好消息就係話，雖然我哋唔夠完美，但係我哋都可以變得聰明。
Sometimes we may be dishonest, but we can still be.
我哋有時都唔誠實，但係我哋都可以聰明。
We can make a stop and start being clever.
我哋咧要停止我哋而家做錯嘅嘢，去變得聰明。
This is what Jesus wants us to turn from the old way.
耶穌亦都希望我哋從我哋舊有一條好嘅方法咧去轉變過嚟。
And when I was young, when I read this parable that Jesus talks, I never really understand. Why are you commanding the dishonest guy?
我以前咧去睇呢段經文咧，我都唔係好理解，點解好似仲誇獎咗嗰個唔誠實嘅管家。
You can see, Jesus is really telling us, sometimes, we're so focused on what people done wrong, but we did not learn what are something that we might be learned from the person.
所以咧，有時我哋都提醒翻自己咧，我哋好多時就係去淨係捉人哋嗰啲錯處知道佢又做得唔好啲乜嘢，但係其實有啲人做得好嘅嘢，我哋會學習。
Sometimes we look at the world, we say, oh, that's the worldly way, They are bad, we label them, and then we just totally discard what they're doing.
有時我哋咧去睇呢個世界嘅做法係唔好，俗世嘅唔好嘅，我哋咧就完全咧去否定咗佢哋做嘅嘢。
But rather, we must be humble and learn from Jesus. I mean, even Jesus, he will look at what the world is doing and see what are some of the things actually they did well.
但係有時咧，我哋真係要謙卑，就算好似耶穌，佢都會睇得出呢個世人嘅做法有啲嘢咧係可取。
And to be honest, I mean, I'm not saying the world is doing something good, but all I'm saying is, sometimes we are too proud in our own traditions that we totally discard what is the common sense.
我唔係去話我哋要跟從世界，而係話我哋好多時咧去冇睇清楚就去否定或者覺得自己咧做嘅嘢嗰個古老嘅方法先係啱，但係我哋咧就係冇去諗一啲真係好嘅方法。
The Bible says that every good and perfect gift comes from God.
話喺聖經裏邊講話一啲好嘅完美嘅禮物都係從神。
But the world doing something good actually comes from God.
就算呢個世界有啲好嘅事情做出嚟，都係從神而嚟。
Because God laid down the framework of good practice. Even though you are not a believer, you follow the good practice, I guarantee you will prosper.
因為咧，其實就算呢個世界佢唔係屬神，但係佢哋做一啲事情咧，其實都係跟從緊神嘅佢嗰一套嘅模式去做，佢哋都可以成功。
And on Thursday fellowship group, we've been reading Galatians in chapter 6. We talk about God is not stupid. He can see what you're doing. He knows.
就好似咧，我哋星期四去查加拉太書6章嘅時候，我哋知道咧，其實神佢知道我哋做緊乜嘢，佢明白。
You reap what you sow. That's gonna be the truth.
我哋種咩嘅時候收乜嘢，呢個都係真理。
Even though you're the sons of God, if you sow bad seed, you reap bad fruits.
就算我哋作為神嘅子民，如果我哋撒一啲壞嘅種子，我哋都會收壞嘅果實。
Even though they may not be God's people, if they sow good seed, they will sow good fruit.
就算唔係神嘅子民，佢哋如果撒好嘅種子，佢都可以有好嘅收成。
That's why sometimes you see married couple who are not Christian, they have wonderful marriage, much better than quite a lot of Christian couples.
所以點解你會見得到有一啲非基督徒嘅夫婦，佢哋可以嘅關係好過一個程度係好過一啲基督徒嘅夫婦。
It's because even though they didn't know God, but they can see God has some good suggestion, they will do it.
因為佢哋係好開放嘅，佢見到咦 神嗰度有一啲好嘅教導嘅時候，佢哋會跟從。
There are people who do not know God, but they do it God's way.
有啲人可能唔認識神嘅方法，但係佢哋做緊嘅嘢就係神嘅方法。
Because God said, "No, God is love." If a person will dedicate their life to love others, they will eventually meet God.
就好似經文裏邊講就係話，當嗰啲人佢係有愛嘅時候，其實佢哋係可以去認識神，因為愛係從神。
Ultimately, what leads people to God is love that leads people to God.
亦都係藉住愛咧，係將人咧帶翻去神。
If you are a Christian, but you do not love, do you think you're going to bring them to God, or you're going to drive them away from God?
如果我哋聲稱為基督徒，但係我哋冇愛嘅時候，我哋可唔可以帶人去到神面前？
I know so many people that they're driven away from God because they're Christian.
我亦都聽過好多例子，就係話，就係有啲人睇到因為基督徒嘅行為表現冇愛而離開神。
But rather, they will see someone who truly love and they follow Buddha instead.
佢咧反而見有啲人咧，咦佢有愛嘅喎，咁啱呢個人係一個佛教徒，佢反而就係去了解呢個佛教啦。
I'm not saying you should believe in Buddha. That's not my message.
要記住，我唔係叫大家去信。
But I'm saying, are you being clever as God's people?
我想講嘅就係，其實我哋有冇去運用我哋嘅聰明去作為神嘅子民？
And when we see people prosper, we have to really come down and think about, am I doing God's way? Are they doing God's way that I'm not doing?
所以我哋見到啲人興盛嘅時候，我哋可以睇翻，咦，係咪佢做緊一啲神嘅一啲準則，以至到佢哋可以興盛，反而冇做到咧？
And it is something that we ought to examine ourselves and begin to make the move so that we can live to our full potential as the sons of God.
所以我哋可以開始咧去監察翻，我哋要去作出改變嘅時候，去揾啱神嘅方法嘅時候，我哋可以去更加進。
Please note that even though this master is commanding the manager, but the manager is fired, that's not going to change. He's not included. He's not hired anymore. The relationship is done.
我喺呢度嘅例子咧，要知道就係個主人咧，佢雖然去讚賞個管家佢有聰明，但係咧冇改變嘅事實就係因為佢唔誠實咧，佢都係炒魷，係要離開。
Because of his sin, he has no parts in God's kingdom.
就係因為佢呢一個罪咧，佢唔可以去進入去神嘅國。
So let's be clear about it. Because he is of the world, he has no part in the kingdom. So the master is not saying because he's clever, he is the kingdom. No, he is not in the kingdom.
所以大家咧記得要分清楚，因為呢一個管家咧佢有罪，佢都係屬世嘅，佢係同天國咧係冇呢一份，但係佢有嘅就係一啲聰明。
And if we are secure enough, we can learn from the bad example.
如果我哋咧係有足夠嘅把握咧，其實我哋可以從一啲錯誤嘅例子都學。
So Jesus is telling us, come on guys, you are God's people, you are my people. It hurt, it give me grief when you're acting stupid.
所以神咧亦都提醒翻我哋呢班神嘅子民咧，既然你係我嘅子民，如果我見到你哋係好愚蠢咁去做事嘅話咧，佢都唔開心。
No need to be jealous to someone who is dishonest, but rather learn from what is the thing that he's doing right and start doing it.
所以我哋唔係去妒忌嗰一啲唔誠實嘅人佢嘅豐盛，而係我哋要去學習佢哋用啱嘅方法。
So what happened to that guy? Let's read some scripture from verse 1. He also said, so this is Jesus talking. He also said to his disciple, there was a certain rich man who had a steward, and an accusation was brought to him that this man was wasting his goods.
經文裏邊講話，耶穌又對門徒說：有一個財主的管家，別人向他主人告他浪費主人的財物。
So this rich man was representing God.
咁啊，呢一個主人就代表財主咧，就代表神。
And this manager represent people who actually live inside his influence, his power.
咁啊，呢個管家咧就係活喺主人嘅嗰個影響範圍裏邊。
So people in this world is under God.
就好似呢個世界嘅人都係喺神嘅範圍裏邊。
Whether they know it or not, the world belongs to God, so they live in the world, so they're under God anyway.
呢班人在世嘅人咧，因為其實呢個世界都係屬於神嘅，所以佢哋都係喺神嘅範圍裏邊。
So they reported that he has been wasting God's resources.
咁啊，有人咧就去話俾個主人聽咧，就係哎呀呢班人咧佢哋浪費咗你嘅財。
So he called him and said to him, "What is this I hear about you? Give an account of your stewardship, for you can no longer be steward."
主人叫他來，對他說：我聽見你這事怎麼樣呢？把你所經管的交代明白，因你不能再作我的管家。
Okay, so now he had to give an account, so he knows he's in trouble.
咁啊，呢一個管家咧，佢知道佢咧要攤開晒出嚟去做過嘅嘢咧，佢係有麻煩。
Honestly, if God asked me to show him what I have done, I'll be in deep trouble.
我亦都好坦白，如果神咧話叫我翻開晒我做過嗰啲帳出嚟咧，我都會好麻煩。
I can see how many opportunity of time that I can do good and I didn't do it.
我會見得到咧好多嘅機會裏邊，我可以做得好啲，但我冇。
I can see so many times that I purposely didn't do good.
我甚至乎見到有啲情況咧係我專登咧冇去做。
I'll be nervous.
我一定會好驚惶失措。
So next, okay, then the steward said within himself, "What shall I do? For my master is taking my stewardship away from me. I cannot dig. I'm ashamed to beg."
那管家心裏說：主人辭我，不用我再作管家，我將來做什麼？鋤地咧無力，討飯咧怕羞。
And you can see here, this steward is a pretty lazy person.
你見到咧呢個管家咧都幾難做。
You know, he like an easy job.
佢中意咧揾簡單要揾錢。
You know, anything that is require some kind of sweating, forget it.
如果要出力咁樣去揾錢咧，佢就覺得好辛苦。
If the job is a bit stressful, forget it.
如果話嗰份工好大壓力嘅，唔使揾。
And they're thinking, okay, well, how am I going to live?
咁佢就會話咁我點樣繼續生存落去咧
Okay, I have resolved what to do. That when I am put out of the stewardship, they may receive me into their houses.
我知道怎麼行，好叫人在我不作管家之後，接我到他們家裏去。
Okay, so he has to find he will work out some clever way how I can continue. Someone will look after me.
佢咧就諗到一啲聰明嘅方法啦，知道咧點樣咧先可以喺佢冇一份工之後咧，仍然有人去照顧。
So he called every one of his master's debtor to him and said to the first, "How much do you owe my master?"
於是把欠他主人債的一個一個的叫了來，問頭一個說：你欠我主人多少
？Now, so after this, he managed the account. So he said, "Okay, whoever owes my master's money, come."
佢因為本帳目㗎嘛，跟住咧就逐個嗰啲債仔咧就叫到嚟佢面前咧就問啦。
And he said, 100 measures of oil. So he said to him, "Take your bill and sit down quickly and write 50."
他說100簍油，管家說：拿你的帳，快坐下寫50。
So he has given him a discount of 30 measure of oil. 50 is it? No, 50. Sorry. Wow, that's generous.
佢好慷慨啊，自動俾折扣嚇，淨係計佢一半啫，爭佢主人一半150。
Well, in a way, he has the authority because he's the steward, so he he has the authority to write this thing, but then is it the right thing to do?
咁啊，佢咧作為管家嘅時候咧，佢仍然有呢個權力去寫低究竟個記帳係幾多。咁咧但係佢咁樣做啱唔啱？
Okay, so let's look at the next one. Then he said to another, how much do you owe? So he said, 100 measure of wheat. And he said to him, take your bill and write 80.
又問一個說你欠多少？他說100石銀子。管家說但係你啲帳寫80。
20% discount.
又打咗8折。
That's generous.
好慷慨。
Well, okay. So after verse 7, then it leads to the verse that the manager said, the manager is dishonest, but then he did something clever.
咁啊，你見到咧，去到第7節咧，係呢個管家咧好唔誠實，但係佢又做咗啲嘢咧聰明。
And what did by giving discount to this debtor, what did he gain from it?
哇！佢俾咗呢啲折扣，俾咗啲債仔，其實佢得益係咩咧？
Well, in a sense, how many of you we see sometimes people come alongside with you, I give it to you for free.
哇！有幾多時候咧，有啲人咧可能同你行埋一齊咧，跟住會話：，我俾啲嘢你唔使錢。
Oh, you have a problem? Oh, you need your dishes washed? Let me wash it for you.
哦，你有事啊？唔緊要啦，你唔使洗碗，我幫你洗。
Oh, let's have lunch. I'll buy you lunch.
哦，你一齊去食飯啊？我請你。
Oh, here, come sit here.
你坐先嚟，呢度你個位。
In a way, you're making people happy.
咁啊，首先咧，你要令到人哋開心。
And in a way, people like to see you.
咁啊，其他人咧中意見到你啊。
Because something good about to happen when I see you.
我見到呢個人咧，次次都係好款待。
They give me good deal.
俾到我啲
50% discount last time. This time it'll be 40.
上次啊，打嗰個5折，今次起碼都有6折吧。
And he's making friends.
咁啊，佢咧就有好多朋友啦。
He's making friends.
佢交咗好多朋友。
And and then the manager commended him for being clever.
我跟住咧個主人咧都讚佢聰明。
You have to be very careful there because sometimes you wonder why God commended him when he's cheating on this.
我哋要好小心啊！我哋覺得其實佢係喺度講緊大話，而攞到呢啲嘅朋友。咁點解個主人都話佢聰明？
You're going to see here, if you read the verse 8 very carefully, it says that he's clever in dealing with those who are like him.
咁啊，我哋睇翻第8節嘅時候咧，佢係對於同佢嗰類型人嘅咧，佢係好聰明。
In other words, the dishonest method will only work with the people who are dishonest.
即係話呢啲唔誠實嘅方法咧，就會喺唔誠實嘅人當中咧就係好奏效。
This manager has chosen to live in the world of dishonesty.
首先呢一個管家咧，佢選擇係活喺嗰個唔誠實嘅世界裏。
He chooses to live in a world that are full of cheating, full of undercutting people.
首先佢選擇咗去到呢個世界咧，係成日都可能係去可能有啲人又會受損失啊。
In other words, if he chooses to live in this world, he will sow what is reaped because he will always live in fear because all his friends will very likely to undercut him, cheat on him.
咁啊，既然佢撒種，即係佢活喺呢一個唔誠實嘅世界裏邊，佢亦都會收翻個種，就係佢隨時都俾人去去受騙。
So he will have such a terrible life living in that world.
所以佢繼續喺呢個世界唔誠實嘅世界裏邊咧，佢係注定係可能都係好驚恐。
So in his choice of living, in his environment, he's doomed to fail. He's doomed to suffer. He's doomed to reap what he sows.
話佢會面對失敗啦，佢會去收翻佢呢一啲唔誠實嘅種子。
But what he did well is within the operating environment, within the rule of that world, he operates successfully. I let you cheat 50%. I let you cheat 20% to make friends so that people like him.
但係咧，換一個角度咧，佢喺呢個世界裏邊咧，佢亦都揾到佢一啲朋友，因為佢哋大家合謀咧，就去呃到50%啊，50%。
So in a way, they will all go down together, but yeah, at least together, not alone.
話佢會同嗰班人咧一齊咧，同阿法夫咧就一齊去毀壞，咁但係起碼唔係自己一個人。
But anyway, I mean, being sad alone or together is still being sad, so we don't want to go to that path.
但係其實無論有幾多人同你一齊去滅亡都好啦，呢個都唔係我哋要行嘅路。
But the thing is using his resources to make friends.
佢只係用佢有嘅資源咧去結交朋友。
You can understand here is that the world is kind to you. It's not because they want you. They want the possession that you're going to give them.
有時世界就係咁運作㗎，佢哋去跟隨你，唔係因為你嘅本人，係因為你嘅財物俾佢哋。
Think about it. Think about the friend that you have. How many of them will not come to you if you're not giving them something?
我哋都可以諗一諗喺我哋身邊周圍嘅朋友有幾多人係佢哋同你喺埋一齊係因為可能你有啲嘢會俾分到俾佢。
You know, when I was in my early days of my career, you know, it's one of the wise thing I heard is, you know, we spend so much time in our work, and rightly so, we need to work.
咁喺我啱啱出嚟做嘢嘅時候咧，我哋成日都講話，點解花咁多時間落去做嘢咧？有咩好處
？And you know, but the reality is, we actually spend a lot of time at work.
但係實際就係我哋真係放好多時間去工作。
Especially in Hong Kong.
尤其是喺香港。
And you know, we have a joke about, not a joke actually, is real. You know, we have people working in big company, but they work so many extra hours. And you divide the number of hours, they get paid lower than working in the company.
我哋甚至乎咧有一個笑話，但係都係實際嘅情況，就係嗰啲喺大公司做到高級嘅，但係因為佢哋加班加點，哇！真係瘋狂嘅工作時間咧，到你真係除翻佢份糧，每1小時咧，可能仲低薪過做白領。
And let's, you know, you might have spent, you know, let's say you spend over 15 hours at work a day.
假設你一日咧超過15個鐘頭去做。
And you spend 2 minutes at home.
你就得2分鐘時間喺屋企。
Plus 8 hours or maybe 6 hours sleep, maybe 5.
6至8個鐘瞓覺。
And you know, one day when you have an accident that you cannot work anymore.
如果有一日你遇上一個意外，你失去咗工作嘅能力。
Who's going to be next to your bed?
喺你隔離嘅床邊嘅係邊一位咧
Is it would that be your boss?
係咪你老細
Will be most likely your family if you still maintain a good relationship.
應該都會係你家人嘅，如果你都同佢哋仲有感情。
And once again, I'm not saying you shouldn't work. You know, when you work, you should do the work that you're supposed to do. But in reality, we think about, you know, which world are we living in?
我唔係話叫大家唔使工作，我哋仍然都係去做好嗰份工嘅。但係我哋要睇翻，實際上我哋係活喺邊個世界裏？
God's way in God's kingdom is not possession centered.
喺神嘅角度，神嘅方法係要擁有主。
In God's way is people centered.
係人嘅中心，以人為中心。
Okay, let's look at the verse 9 now. I tell you, use the riches of this world to help others. In that way, you will make friends for yourself. Then when your riches are gone, you will be welcomed into your eternal home in heaven.
我又告訴你們，要藉着那不義的錢財結交朋友，到了錢財冇用的時候，他們可以接你們到永存的帳幕。
Are you making friends?
我哋有冇結交朋友咧？
Now I'm not talking about the friends who are, they are your friend because you can give them something.
我唔係講緊嗰啲因為佢覺得同你一齊有着數而先同你做朋友嗰啲朋友。
If that's what you want, you are living in the world.
如果你係真係有呢啲朋友，或者你淨係想要有呢啲朋友咧，其實你就係活喺呢個世界。
Just like the manager, he's living with a friend who are dishonest.
就好似嗰個管家咧，佢都活喺嗰個唔誠實嘅人嘅世界裏。
When your riches is gone, when is your riches gone?
不過幾時我哋嘅錢財咧會變得冇用咧？
Deflation.
銀紙貶值啦，值錢啦。
When there's war.
戰爭嘅時候啦。
My friends in Australia, they were shortage in toilet paper.
我記得喺澳洲廁紙短缺嘅時候。
Actually, Hong Kong happened as well, right?
香港都試過啦。
Can money buy your toilet paper?
你有錢都買唔到廁紙。
When your world is gone, who can give you toilet paper?
當你呢個世界過去咗嘅時候，咁你邊個俾你廁紙咧？
All my friends they share in Park Island, I think.
我有個朋友佢係住珀麗灣。
And they have two. I think they have. Her husband left her with another woman, and then she have young children to look after.
呢個女性嘅朋友咧，佢個丈夫咧同第二個女人好咧，咁剩翻咧佢就同佢個小朋友兩個人。
So no one look after him.
可能冇人去照顧佢個細仔。
Yeah. And then the neighbor said, "Oh, don't worry, I got plenty of toilet paper."
咁佢個鄰居咧就好好嘅，唔緊要，我有好多廁紙，我讓啲俾你。
And are you making friends?
你有冇去結交朋友咧？
Are you making friends who are not after your possession but are truly concerned about you?
你有冇去結識到一啲朋友係唔係真係去貪你有嗰啲嘢，反而佢係真真正正想幫你？
And it is a quality that you really have to consider yourself. Are you investing in the people, or are you investing in the possession?
所以我哋都要問自己，我哋今時今日其實我哋投資嘅係喺一啲物質上面啦，定係真正嘅友誼上面咧？
And once again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't, save and plan for your future, but then where are you investing your money?
我唔係話叫大家唔使儲蓄啊，或者係未雨綢繆，但係而家你真正投資嘅落去係喺邊度咧？
I talk to many people. They say, "Oh, my treasure in heaven. I will have treasure in heaven."
有啲人會講，我啲財寶喺天上。
And all they think about, in heaven I have gold, I have jewelry, I have whatever gold coin, not big coin, but God coin.
佢哋甚至話，你放心啦，我喺天家，我又有黃金啦，又有珠寶啦，甚至乎係神幣。
I was so happy when I hear that. I can see. I think the heaven he means is hell.
我喺度諗話，佢講緊佢嗰個天堂會唔會其實反而係
Because it is a total. Because gold, money is not a heavenly treasure.
因為喺天堂我哋從來唔係最追求嘅係呢啲個黃金啊、珠寶。
That is not a treasure in the eyes of God.
因為喺神眼中呢啲就唔係最寶貴。
If that is His treasure, He would have died for the gold.
如果呢個係神看為寶貴嘅，咁係咪佢會派人捨身去為咗呢一啲錢財咧？
He would send angel to dig gold.
佢可能派晒啲天使去就係去掘金㗎啫。
We have that thinking is because we still live in the world mindset.
我哋仍然今時今日都想去掘金啊，想去戴珠寶啊，係因為我哋有呢個世界嘅嗰個諗法。
To God, the only treasure is people.
對於神嚟講，唯一真正嘅財寶係人。
You worth more than gold.
就好似我哋係比黃金更加寶貴。
You worth more than toilet paper.
我哋比廁紙更加寶貴。
The people will fight in front of the supermarket for the toilet paper.
人咧可能真係喺超市為咗搶廁紙而大打出手。
We may laugh about it, but you know, we might be the one there.
我哋而家覺得好笑，但係可能真係有一日嗰個人。
But we need to understand, you know, in God's hearts, people is treasure.
我哋要明白喺神嘅心意裏邊，人先係財寶。
That's why we never take it granted for the people that we see.
所以咧，我哋唔好話我哋見到邊班人係必然㗎啦，有個人喺我身邊周圍。
We are trained since little. We are to treat nice to those who has lots of things.
我哋咧好細個咧已經被教育就係話，哇！我哋見到啲大官貴人咧，我哋要對佢更加好。
Oh, if he's rich, oh, we better dress nicely.
哇！如果我哋去見嗰啲有錢人咧，我哋都要着得靚。
Oh, if we go only that place, yeah, just casual, yeah.
如果嗌嗰啲冇乜特別嗰啲，我哋求其就得啦。
God is not stupid.
神絕對唔愚蠢。
He can tell straight away which kingdom you're in.
佢好快就會講咗俾你聽咧，你而家係活喺緊邊個國度
Are you living in God's kingdom, or are you living in the worldly kingdom?
你係活喺呢個世界國度啊，定係神國度咧？
See, that's why God's people are not clever.
點解神嘅子民係唔夠聰明咧？
Because they choose, even though they live in God's kingdom, but they hold on to their treasure, just like the people who live in the world.
呢班神嘅子民，佢哋話就話活喺神嘅國度裏邊，但係佢同屬世嘅人係冇分別嘅，佢仍然都係攬住晒自己嘅嗰啲物質上面咁。
You know, in Revelation,
我喺創世記，唔係喺啟示錄嗰度嘅。
you know, Jesus was writing letter to the church.
話耶穌咧就寫信俾教會。
And he said, I'd rather you be totally cold than lukewarm.
話耶穌話：我寧願你哋完全冰冷，好過你咧不冷不熱。
And that's why the church is going weak.
好關乎教會真係越嚟越弱。
We say we love you, but we love your possession.
我哋有時會唱話啊，我哋愛人啊，但係其實咧，我哋係愛人嘅擁有嘅。
And that's why the church is shrinking.
就算教會都被震盪。
Because in the world there's no place for church.
佢話喺世界嘅角度裏邊咧，其實冇位俾教會嘅。
There's no place for family.
冇位俾家庭。
You know, for a long time I see that churches run like an organization.
哇，好長嘅時間，我覺得啲人營運教會咧就好似一個組織咁。
You know, church is supposed to be a family.
教會應該就係一個家庭。
If you think about your family,
你首先去諗下你自己嘅家。
Even the person that is behaving badly.
就算有一個家庭成員佢做得好差。
Do you kick him out?
你會唔會話趕佢出街？
Do you say, oh, you're not part of the family?
你會唔會同佢講話你唔再屬於呢個家嘅一份子啦？
No, you give them time.
你會俾時間佢哋。
You live with them for a little while.
你容忍佢哋起碼一陣。
You give them some patience.
你俾啲耐性。
And you learn to, or maybe not live with them, but then you begin to patient and try different things to help them.
你咧可能唔會就咁淨係嗌人，但係咧你都會試下唔同方法，俾啲耐性去睇下點樣改變佢。
Or maybe you are one of the family members say, oh, but the rest of my family is terrible. I'm leaving.
又或者咧，哎呀，我家庭其他人都唔得嘅，我而家走啦。
But that's not how family should be.
咁呢個唔係一個家應該有嘅模式。
Family is like, I'll with you to the end.
話家其中一樣嘢就係話，無論如何，我哋都會一齊行到最尾。
Even though you're behaving, you are really not part of, you're not acting as a family member, but then, you are always in the family.
就算咧，你可能從來都冇盡過你家庭成員嘅責任，但係你仍然都係喺呢個家。
In the family we still have corrections. We may take certain measure to help person to change, but then it's still one family.
咁啊，當然喺家庭裏邊，我哋都會有管教，都會有要佢要作出一啲改變，但係點都係一個家。
In a way, family has to work it out.
甚至乎總之呢家人佢哋要集體咧搞掂所有問題。
There's one time the Pharisee, I think it's Pharisee, was asking Jesus why Moses allowed people to get divorced.
有法利賽人咧就曾經問耶穌啦，話點解摩西嘅律法容許啲人咧係離婚嘅？
And Jesus, look at the scripture, but Jesus says because people are hard-hearted.
我哋可以睇翻經文啦，耶穌嘅回答咧就係話，因為啲人硬咗心腸。
It's not God's will.
呢個絕對唔係神嘅心。
God doesn't see that as family.
神咧佢唔認同一個家庭係要分離。
Okay, but he said because people are hard-hearted, that's why. Instead of letting each other they kill each other, maybe better for them to live by separating.
但係因為有啲人實在太硬心腸啦，如果再對峙嘅時候咧，可能會有呢一個流血事件，咁所以咧，可能冇辦法底下就係容許佢哋分離。
But in God's eyes, He sees everyone as a family. That's why you are children of God. Why? Because He sees us as family.
但喺神嘅眼中咧，佢點解成日話我哋係佢嘅兒女咧？就係因為佢就係有一個家庭嘅觀念去睇佢哋。
The only thing that we can keep together, the only way the church can grow strong, is when we become the family that God wants us to become.
所以教會唯一個成長嘅方法就係我哋就好似神眼中咁睇，我哋係一個家庭。
It is, we welcome a new member not because of what he has, but because of who he is.
我哋去歡迎每一個成員嚟到當中，唔係因為佢擁有幾多嘢，而係佢本身佢就係。
Are people leaving a church because the church cannot give him things that he wants?
哇，係咪有啲人話我離開教會啦，因為咧我喺教會冇嘢攞到。
I tell you, this is a wrong reason to leave.
呢個唔係一個啱嘅理由去離開。
When does a person leave a family?
我幾時一個人會離開佢家？
When he get married, they start a new family.
唯有就係話佢要離開佢嘅原生家庭，去建立另外一個家庭啦，結婚啦。
Can you see how the church grows?
咁你亦都見到教會可以係咁樣去成長。
By having more families.
建立更加多個家庭。
What you have here today is you bring more orphans.
話你而 而家嚟到喺呢度見到嘅我係
When people leave, they have become orphans.
不過如果啲人咧離開咗教會，離開咗呢個家庭咧，反而好似變得好孤兒。
They become, and that's why the church of God is the church is getting weaker.
咁啊，所以咧，其實教會如果係咁樣運作嘅咧，就會越嚟越弱。
And in a family, you contribute to the family.
因為喺一個家庭裏面咧，其實每個成員佢都有心想去奉獻出嚟。
When we have tithes and offering, think about it. It's like we contribute to the family. How's the family going to run without everyone contributing?
就諗下好簡單，奉獻咁樣，就係每人去奉獻佢樂意捐出嚟嘅，咁呢個家庭先可以繼續維繫。
People think like, oh, I give this much, what am I getting back?
咁啊，但係如果你個心態即係話，哇，我俾咁多錢出嚟，我攞啲咩啊
？You're living in the wrong world.
咁你嘅心態上面，你係活喺一個錯誤嘅世界。
We're not being clever.
我哋好多時都唔夠聰。
We're only living in the clever way of the world.
我哋淨係可以活喺呢個世界一啲啱嘅方法。
But obviously, it's wrong, right? But in the world, it's right, but it's wrong.
哇！喺嗰個世界裏面係覺得啱，但係其實神嘅角度裏面係錯。
I want to encourage you to, our thinking is made by thousands of years of man tradition.
我哋嘅思想咧，實在係俾好多固有嘅一啲傳統去分圖法。
And one message of me will not change. Will very hard for you to move a needle.
今日我一個講道，好難去就係去改變咗你嘅諗法。
Right? Encourage you to seek God's way. What is a family is like?
但係我哋要嘗試去尋求神嘅方法，我哋再重新考慮下，其實一個家庭應該係。
When we say we reach people, we get people saved. Think about why are you getting people saved?
我哋話我哋要去出去同啲人傳福音，讓到人哋得救。點解我哋想呢班人得救
？For some people, I know for some of the church, have to meet the quota.
有啲教會可能會覺得，喂，呢個就係個使命，我就係要去向幾個人傳福音，幾個人去得救。
They run like a business. If I don't meet 10 people, oh no, myself is not making the number.
佢哋可能真係都會有到唔到數嘅。睇下，如果我帶領10個人關主都冇，呢個唔得。
I'm not saying that you are doing that, but we were true to ourselves. Sometimes we have this inherent worldly thinking. If I don't get 10, this will be terrible.
我哋都要咧誠實去對自己，就係話，我哋會唔會都有咁嘅心態咧？哇！我出咗隊咁多次，10個都冇足夠係嘛？啲人信主，我都覺得唔好受。
Then they will say, oh, if we don't have more people coming, how's the church going to survive? How's the finances going to go?
咁亦都會有諗法就係話，如果我唔夠人數嚟到教會，教會點樣繼續落去啊？點樣維持？
Church is not a business.
係教會唔係一盤生意。
We're not run by our books.
我哋唔係淨係睇住個帳簿。
I'm not saying that we should just keep wasting our money. No, we should be prudent with our money. But then we have to think about what is the reason you want to reach people?
我哋唔係話要亂花錢，我哋都要去好穩健咁樣去使錢。但係我哋會問，我哋如果想出去向人傳福音嘅時候，我哋要讀咩嘅？
Jesus is willing to lose 1,000 people in his sermon. You can see that his goal is not, just getting more people.
耶穌佢喺佢教導嘅時候咧，佢係可以去擺低1000個人去唔理，你就會見到其實佢嘅 目標，唔係話淨係個人數。
You need to understand there's no conflict here. God want all to be saved. So don't get me wrong, we want all to be saved.
大家唔好搞錯咗，神係想所有人都得救。
But He's not going to use the worldly way to get all to be saved.
但佢肯定唔係用世界嘅方法咧，去令到所有人得救。
He's not going to use food to attract people to come.
佢唔係話要去派食物，令到吸引啲人嚟到去。
People want Him to continue to give out food so that He might be king.
因為佢知道啲人咧想繼續咧去揾呢一個人佢咧俾佢哋食物嘅時候咧就尊佢為王啊。
People want to follow Jesus because Jesus can give them what they want.
好多時人跟隨耶穌係因為耶穌俾到佢哋要嘅。
But that's not what Jesus wants.
但係呢個唔係耶穌想要。
That's why He had to go away. He said, "No, no, 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 no."
所以點解耶穌有時要去避開？因為佢知道唔對路啦。
Time is coming. The church has to realize we are not running the church at God's way.
呢個時間一路咁過去，教會亦都要醒覺，如果佢哋唔係用緊神嘅方法去管理緊間教。
We must not be possession driven anymore.
我哋唔可以再係擁有主義。
Because those riches will be gone.
因為呢啲所謂嘅財寶咧會過去。
I'm not saying that you just throw everything away, don't worry about it. No.
我哋唔係話要抌晒啲嘢唔理啦。
You have to put it in the right perspective.
我哋要擺啱位置。
You have to have the right balance.
我哋要一個啱嘅平衡。
Treasure the people that is around you.
我哋首先要去珍惜我哋身邊周圍嘅人。
Begin to treasure you yourself.
首先你自己先。
Know that you are God's sons and daughters.
知道咧自己係神嘅兒女。
You know, you worth more than what you lack.
你咧絕對係好配得嘅，係遠多過你欠缺嘅嘢。
Allow God to give the worth back to you.
你首先要去肯定，亦都知道咧神佢俾你嘅價值。
Do not let your possession define who you are.
完全唔係睇你擁有幾多嘢而去定義你有幾寶貴。
And then to begin to make friends, not because of what they have, but rather who they are.
跟住就去結交朋友，唔係因為佢哋幾有錢，而係佢哋係邊個。
You know, use your resources to make friends for who they are, not what they have.
用你嘅財物去結交朋友，係因為佢哋係邊一位，而唔係佢哋有幾有錢。
You know, if they choose to live in the world kingdom, then don't go with them.
如果佢哋選擇活喺世界嘅角度裏邊，你唔會跟從。
You know, people call Jesus the friend of sinners.
啲人咧成日都講話耶穌咧係罪人嘅朋友。
I tell you, they are not sinners.
我話俾大家聽，其實嗰啲人唔係罪人。
Their heart is towards God.
佢哋係有跟隨耶穌嘅心。
They long for God.
佢哋想渴求神。
They care for people.
佢哋係識得去關顧別人。
Yes, some of them may be tax collector or but they were forced in this world to do some of the things that they didn't want to do.
話係有啲係稅吏嚟嘅，可能都要去向啲人去收錢，但係呢個只係喺地上面佢要做好呢份工。
When they hear Jesus' message, they can see this is what they wanted. They want people-centered, not possession-centered.
當佢哋聽到耶穌嘅福音嘅時候，佢哋發覺佢哋想要嘅係人，唔係佢哋擁有嘅財物。
Their heart is towards God.
所以佢哋嘅心係向神。
The Pharisee is not, their heart is not towards God.
反而法利賽人佢哋嘅心唔係向神。
And Jesus had no association.
所以耶穌好難同佢哋去結交朋友。
Jesus invested his resource in what we call the sinners.
耶穌反而去投放資源喺我哋眼中看為罪人嘅嗰一班人。
Because they are willing to move away from possession center to people center.
因為耶穌見到呢班人嘅轉化，佢哋唔再係物質主義，佢哋係人主義。
Think about Zacchaeus,
我哋睇翻嗰個
the short guy on the tree.
嗰個即係矮矮地嘅，佢要爬上樹先見到耶穌。
When they hear Jesus' message,
佢咧聽到耶穌嘅嗰個教導嘅時候，
he turned from possession center to people center.
佢頓然唔再係攬住自己嗰啲錢，反而佢係想去向人去投資。
Whoever I have cheated, I will pay them double.
佢話啊，我呃過邊個嘅，我雙倍奉還。
And I will do this. I will use my possession to do this.
我會用我嘅錢財去祝福翻其他人。
The Pharisee heard about this parable from Jesus.
嗰啲法利賽人聽到耶穌去講呢一個比喻，
They hated Jesus after that.
佢哋咧憎耶穌。
You can look it up yourself.
你可以繼續睇落，
Because they loved.
因為佢哋愛嘅係金錢。
The Bible, if you look at this parable, at the end of the parable, the next verse, it says the Pharisees loved money.
就係呢個經文之後咧，就講翻嗰班法利賽人，佢哋愛嘅係錢財。
They have chosen the Pharisees. They have chosen to continue to be possession driven.
即係話嗰班法利賽人，佢聽完晒之後，佢仍然都係選擇咧去呢個擁有主義為先。
No wonder they rejected the message of God. They will not be part of the kingdom.
點解就係話佢哋到最尾，佢係拒絕咗耶穌，佢亦都係天國冇份。
Don't be surprised one day when